Pretend like we read.
It's that part. All right. All right, everybody got a pamphlet there. All right, my name is Tony Alyssa. I'm a nurse here. I've been a nurse for about 4 or 5 years. Worked in the ER, also worked in one of the flex pools. As of right now, I'm in class and further my education. And one of the things that we have to do, we have to do a community service project. And basically what this project does is kind of enhance your knowledge about some things that you may know about or may not know anything about, but just kind of enhance your knowledge. And being that we have firemen within this group, coaches within this group, you know, some of you guys volunteer for Big Brother, some of you guys are counselors and work for social services. One of the things that we come in contact with a lot are kids. And one of the things that with kids are vulnerable. And there's a lot of times kids are not able to speak for themselves and things like that. So as a community, it's important for the citizens of the community to be a voice for kids and for the vulnerable population. Vulnerable population also can include like the elderly and the mentally ill and things like that. But today we're going to focus on the children. And one of the things that we're going to talk about with the kids today is going to be the child abuse. And like I said, being that we come into contact with kids all the time, one of the things that we want to make sure is that they're not being abused and look for some of those signs and symptoms that that can potentially be, you know, the child is in an abusive situation. A lot of times, one of the easiest things is the physical. Most of you guys are, you know, pretty apt to know that, you know, if you see bruises on a child or a child have weird broken bones, it kind of happens on multiple occasions. Everybody kind of knows that's abuse, but there are other symptoms and signs that, you know, the child may exhibit that we need to be mindful of as well. And one of those signs is just, you know, for instance, if you have babies, you know, in the, you know, 0 to about 18 months old, most of them are not going to be quiet. So if you have a child that's abnormally quiet, you know, you kind of want to maybe suspect abuse in that situation. Most kids, they have some type of separation anxiety. So for instance, if you try to get the baby or something like that and take them away from like the mom or the dad or the caregiver, most babies are going to cry and kind of fuss. You know, they're not going to necessarily just want to go because they're not used to us, you know. So that's kind of another example. Kids like in the 1 to 3 to 6 year old range, one of the things that you see with them is they're more physically aggressive. They're very, very aggressive. They're kind of verbally abusive to other kids, which is not normal. And another thing is a lot of times they actually withdraw from even being with those other kids. They kind of isolate themselves. And that's things, those things that are not normal is one of the things that we always want to be mindful of and kind of make us suspect abuse. So whenever we see these type of things, the question becomes, what do I do from this point? And most people, what they found in research is most people don't actually, they're afraid to report because they don't want to be the ones to separate a child from family because they think, well, if nobody else saw this sign, if nobody else saw this, then maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm seeing something that's not really there. So that's one of the things that happens. They actually have what they call like anxiety about reporting. And that's not what we want to do. We want to be able to report and let the other agencies come in and see if it's really something there or not. I mean, because if there's not anything there, then it's okay. Because at the end of the day, we do want the kids to always remain in contact with the family, you know, via mother, father, whomever the caregiver may be. But nevertheless, like I said, the main goal is to, you know, they come in. You guys come in. One of the main goals is you want to make sure we report those signs. We got law enforcement agencies. Actually, our agency here, they have their own separate division that handles child abuse and things of that nature. So, and then from that point, they can also report to like Child Protective Services as well. Now, as far as us, there are several numbers that's in those pamphlets that I handed out. One of the numbers, the local number is it's like 1-855 for LA Kids. It's a national hotline number that's 1-800 for child. So those are the numbers that we can call. Those are local hotlines that are available 24 hours a day. But like I said, we do have the benefit of having our own personal child safety prevention center within the law enforcement department. And being, like I said, most of you guys are within what they call mandated reporters. So that means like law enforcement, clergy, coaches, people that interact with kids a lot on a daily basis. Those are people that are considered mandated reporters. So basically, if you see these things, report it. You know, because for instance, the child abuse with the physical part of it, like I said, you know, sometimes after I spoke to the Child Protection Services, one of the things that they look at to see where those like wounds are located. For instance, in Louisiana, it's not illegal to spank your kids. In some states, it's illegal to spank your kids. Louisiana's not one of those states. So what they actually do, they look to see where they're at. So they look to see if you have wounds on the chest or the trunk of the body, on the back, and the face. And so those are the ones that they'll become more leery that abuse is more suspected. A lot of times when they see like wounds on like the wrists, the ankles, they consider those like defensive wounds. So like the child may try to block a lick or something like that, hits the arm. So they kind of understand that even though illegal, that's not illegal. That's something that wasn't necessarily done purposeful, but the child kind of put his hand in the way. So nevertheless, but the thing is, they're professionals, they're trained for this, so we let them handle that part of it. We report it, and whatever they decide, you know, whatever course of action they decide, that decision is on them. The main goal that I'm trying to get you guys to see today is that it's very important for us to report it, not to have anxiety issues over reporting it, and not to worry that, you know, sometimes, you know, it's your fault. Because what ends up happening if you don't report it and that person assumes something is going on, if that child, that parent leaves the city or the state, and now you're thinking to yourself, you begin to feel guilty because now you think, well, what if it was something going on and I didn't report it? So the main thing is, you know, just want to make you aware, make you leery of being able to report it, and also to decrease some of those personal anxiety issues. Other than that, that's basically the gist of this class and the gist of this topic that we're going to discuss today. If you guys have any questions, let me know. You feel free to ask. Anybody? Okay. That's it. That's the end of the class. Thank you. That's it. Appreciate it.